Live from Las Vegas, well, more or less. I'm Rick Rosen with Mark Anthony. This is Good Sports. Good evening, Mark. What's happening, buddy?
Hey, not much. How about you?
Notice anything different?
You look darker than normal.
Hey, now we have a fan. I look better than normal. I beg your pardon. I don't have to put up with that. All right, let's see if we got me in there. Okay, there we go. I think I'm a little. Look, I'm skewed a little bit.
Yeah, we've said that for a long time, though.
skewed. I feel like the guy with the wrench and the winch thing. Okay, speaking of commercials, I've been watching the commercials. The NBA. Aisha Curry brought up that the thing was fixed and they wanted the series to go to 7 games.
Yeah.
Baseball, basketball, and hockey have the same 7-game format. First 2 games, they screwed around and did 2-3-2, which didn't work. It sucks. You can't play 3 games in a row, expect to win all 3 of them, and that's where you really are at a disadvantage. So they went back to 2-2, 1-1-1. And that home court means you always have the odd numbered game at home. So the players, to get their share, and I believe it started with baseball, Mark, said that we'll take our cut out of the first 4 games, and then that's it. And if it goes 7 games, it goes 7 games, and the owners and everybody else the league gets the rest. But the players get theirs always out of the first 4 games. So the players were always guaranteed to be paid. And back in the day, you made the playoffs, that doubled your salary. You got at least what, for winning the World Series, what you got during the regular season. Now it's a pittance. They can put that in the plate at church on Sunday, what they get comparatively speaking. But the players do get their cut. That's when they figure their shares on the first 4 games. So the league does have a motivation to extend a series. We're talking about money, and money's what drives the whole damn thing. So is it out of the realm of possibility? No. I don't think they actively cheat. I don't think they call the referees, on their secret cell phones and say, okay, listen, here's the deal. In the middle of the 3rd quarter, we want you to look the other way and play like you didn't see a travel or something. They were already doing that. It's an almost impossible situation for the referees as it is, Mark, to have 6 eyes watching 20 legs and 20 arms, and it's just damn near impossible. The referees are not near as big as the competitors. In boxing, the referees are almost always bigger, or at least as big. Even if you look at the heavyweight division, they get Jane 80 in there, and there's always in hockey, the players are rarely a great deal bigger than the on ice guys, but it's different that way. So anyhow, the Cavaliers have extended the NBA Finals to a 7th game, and the Cavaliers did it, or the Warriors let it happen, whichever way you look at it. It's one of those 2 things, or maybe a combination thereof. Last year, the Cavaliers were devastated by injuries and took the series as far as they could go, and the Warriors won it, and everybody said it was tainted. This year, the Cavaliers go in the 3-1 hole, and they say, hey, maybe last year wasn't such a fluke. Now the Cavaliers have their best guys out there, and they're still getting their asses handed to them. And sure enough, the Cavaliers come back and showed a great deal of resilience, and have come back and tied it at 3. And now we go to Game 7, and after in a 7th game, there is a home court advantage, but I don't think it's as much as it might be in Game 1 or 3, because there's nothing really new that anybody can do. The guy doesn't remember. Maybe if they play in November and they don't play again until late January or early February, somebody kind of forgets what it was to play against you and what your favorite moves were. But when it was just last Tuesday or just last Thursday or whatever the case may be, it's a lot easier and especially 7 games when Iguodala's got nothing left to show them. LeBron James probably still has a few tricks in the book, and Curry, what's he going to do? Dribble off his left kneecap twice and then off of his sternum. He's an amazing athlete. We're talking about 2 very different. It's very difficult to compare the 2 of them because they are such different athletes. One is like a ballet dancer. He reminds you of Lynn Swann. As Lynn Swann used to play football. That's what Curry looks like to me. This little Flight of the Bumblebee thing going all over it. Just you know what I mean? You would almost say, I think you would think of him more as maybe a hummingbird type of a player. And LeBron James is a frickin' eagle. You know what I mean? Or at least some really big falcon. And it's going to be interesting, Mark, to see how this all shakes out. Who do you have?
You know, hang on a second. You know, I was watching like the first 3 quarters of Game 5, and it reminded me a lot of when all these guys were here in town for Basketball USA. It was Game 5 was not a competitive game. It just looked like they were having fun. They were out there playing. I didn't see the competition that I was expecting, but then again, it's like, okay, you know, these guys met last year, so you know, it's like you said, there's nothing new there, you know. So it is just a basketball game at this point.
And you're right. They did the prize didn't seem to excite anybody. Whatever they won for winning it, it did not seem like they were excited.
So it's like they wanted that. If we just go out there and play, you know, like it was a game of pickup, which is what Basketball USA basically was to these guys. So
yes, absolutely.
You know,
that's when their competitiveness came out, Mark, and. You know what I mean? The one thing that I think people don't realize about LeBron James, I think he gets short shrift, Mark. I think he's one of the greatest athletes to ever walk on a basketball court. Yes. He's one of the most gifted basketball players. He has everything you could ask for, and then some. I mean, he's got basketball smarts beyond anything that his experience would equate to. I mean, he's just got that natural ability. And I don't know that the Warriors collectively, we may have seen the very best the Warriors have to throw out in winning the 73 games and doing all that. I don't think that LeBron's competitiveness has emptied his tank ever. His competitiveness, in addition to his, almost like Michael Jordan, those are the two that come to mind. That incredible, just I'm going to do this, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, I don't think we've seen everything LeBron has to offer. So, and I think we have if we have of the two of them, I think it's much more the Warriors than it is the Cavaliers.
Yeah, you know, I guess that's, you know, you say it better. LeBron was out there to play basketball, but he does that in every game. You know, I mean, I'm not a big basketball fan, so I don't watch all of the games, but the games that I've seen him play in, he brings it all. You know, again, it's going back to what you said. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant for the first half of his career. You know, these guys, they just showed up. You know, there wasn't anything new, but
they were surrounded by more talent.
Right.
The only time LeBron James has had talent, he's won the championship. You know, that he's had a good amount of talent around, that he's had championship caliber talent. He may win it this year, and I don't know that Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving and a list of nobodies are what you would call championship caliber talent, except for the fact that they won it. So I guess they were, but you follow what I mean? They're not, if you were putting together an absolute, it was what was available, and they're good individually, but I do think there is something. I don't think they're as good as other teams that have played in the past, but they may be good enough to do it this year, because I think LeBron realizes that if he brings one back to Cleveland, first of all, they will not only give him the key to the city, they'll give him the deed, the mayor's wife, the mayor's oldest daughter, whoever it is. LeBron's going to get that in Cleveland if he gives them a championship. The first one since Lyndon Johnson was president when the Browns won in 1964 with Bill Nelson at quarterback. He might as well have been Admiral or Major Nelson from I Dream of Jeannie. Nobody would know Bill Nelson. He could walk through any Walmart in America and not sign an autograph. That's how long ago You know,
Wow.
Terry Bradshaw can't do that. But yeah. So anyway, just imagine Lyndon Johnson was president the last time they won. You know what? It looks like our audience might be leaving.
Uh-oh.
It's always nice to perform in front of a crowd. So the crowd is heading on out. All right.
What? No more beer?
No, we haven't run totally into that problem, but all right.
All right. So
we'll have to have security escort him off the property. Security.
Come here, Fido. Come here.
I'll get the screen. All right. And there's nothing about live radio that isn't live.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mark, as you watch this series, it has not been an exceptionally well played series by any stretch of the imagination. There has been blowout one way or the other, back and forth and back and forth. Much like a championship, a heavyweight championship fight, is that knockdown, drag out kind of thing. You get that same kind of feeling about this series, that it's just guys taking, total shots, haymakers at one another until somebody goes down, and now it's going to be last man standing or last team standing. And I think you're going to see a pretty intense game. I don't think anybody's going to get a big lead. I think this is going to be the exception where, with it all on the line, excuse me, that's when I do think it favors LeBron James. Just to say, okay, I'll take every one of you on, because they can't take him all five at one time. So I think he can whip in individually anybody on that team. Now, whether that's offensively or defensively, whatever he has to do. But, to beat the old saying in boxing, Mark, to beat the champion, you got to knock out the champion. Well, okay, that's where Cleveland is. To get calls late and those kind of things and all the politics that go into this, and now with Curry's wife bad mouthing the referees and everything, you're saying one game, okay, one call. Now that you said the guy's a jackass, now you want him to call it straight. He's got some leeway there. It's like an umpire with balls and strikes and those kind of things. They leave it to a guy's judgment. They don't do instant replay on every single thing. Thank God it's few and far between, because they're not exceptionally good at it. Look at it. Was the guy's foot on the line? Okay, call it. Let's go. 5 seconds. You're looking at a frickin' picture. Make a judgment there. It's okay. You want to see it larger? You can blow it up to the size of the entire screen. So, the technology is there for them to hurry up. It was not always that way with instant replay. So, and baseball is bad too. Are you a fan of instant replay, Mark?
I sit on the fence with that, because, sometimes they get it right, the right camera angle, the right, everything's right. But then, there's that point where you have to rely on the call of, the human eye.
And sometimes it's a guess. Listen, here's the deal. There's only 8 cameras, right? At an NFL game, there's 8 cameras, and there's less at college basketball or football games, and even less at high school, et cetera, for have the angles. There's 22 people out there, plus referees and umpires and line judges and sideline people and coaches and there's a whole bunch of people out there to keep your eyes on, and there's only 8 cameras that can do it.
Well,
and they do not see every angle of everything. You're right, Mark. And so people always say somebody has to make the judgment, which is in and of itself a judgment call. They say instant replay takes judgment calls out. Not really. No. It just makes the guy make a judgment. It says, okay, you have to choose one or the other.
Well, also, you and I have seen this in boxing fights. We've seen this in UFC fights. We've seen this at the Bull Riders, where they have to take in, the camera lens is not flat. Okay. Yeah. So when you're looking at the instant replay and it's just if that camera angle is just right, the curvature of the natural curvature of the lens gives you that distorted view on it. So it's like, okay, did he touch the bull? Did he not touch the bull? And you look at it through the lens of the camera, and it's like, okay, you got that little curvature to it. Okay, so yeah, instant replay is not perfect.
And it's round objects you're shooting, and particularly in sports or whatever, or whether it's bull riding or whatever, it's round objects.
Yes.
There are no straight lines in boxing and bull riding and those kinds of things in football. There's very few absolute straight lines that you can get a total judgment on. I mean, if you start blowing things up, you look at where the paint is on a blade of grass going this way or that way to touch to be the 20-yard line. You know what I mean? It's so minute that I think the technology is there and can be abused by people who just, again, don't take for frickin' ever. And I think it would be a lot more acceptable to people.
Right.
By the way, the NBA Finals are going on. Tristan Thompson, who played here at Findlay Prep, who now stars for Cleveland. He signed a big contract in the offseason. He's a big favorite of LeBron James as a playing mate. He has improved greatly from last year to this year. He's doing some really exceptional things out there on the basketball court. But much like Shaquille O'Neal before him, they have the Hack-a-Shaq, except it's the Hack-a-Thompson or Hack-a-Tristan. And they just wrap him up before any reasonable chance of him moving and foul him to send him to the free throw line because he's so crappy at shooting free throws. And so Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, said, "Hey, this is boring. This is not good. This is not what our game is. We're gonna do something about this legislatively." And oh boy, you talk about the stuff hitting the fan, Mark. Everybody went nuts. And to me, I think it is identical to the designated hitter in baseball, in Major League Baseball, in that in the American League, the pitcher does not come to bat. They let somebody not play a field, but only bat every time the pitcher would come up, somebody bats for him. That's the designated hitter. And I don't think it's that far off to think of a designated free throw shooter. Okay, every time you foul this guy, let's say you get it away with it 3 times. And that works. And then he misses the free throws, all 6 free throws. And then the next time you foul him, somebody else gets to take his spot and shoot him. And the coach gets to choose which one of his guards that only does that. It gets to go out there and shoot free throws. And it has to be somebody that's going to stay out there. Remember, if he misses the second free throw, it's live. And so he's going to be, right. There's risks to that. But I think that adds something to it, Mark. And I don't think it's that far off of the designated hitter, which, so, I mean, you do get what I mean? I think there's an equitable way to say, okay, we can legislate some of it out of there and make it at least part of the strategy for each team. Do you want to continue to foul him and hope that the little guy that comes in doesn't hit free throws? What do we do?
Yeah, it would add more of a challenge.
Maybe that makes him go to the next guy. Yeah.
It's
right.
like, I totally agree with you. That
I'll put it in the suggestion box when we see Mr. Silver at the Basketball USA.
Yeah.
They're playing their game at the new T-Mobile Arena. This year's game. There might not be any players because of the Zika virus, but they are. The game is scheduled there, and honest to God, I was not a big fan when Jimmy Carter canceled the 1980. I mean, the Olympics, of us going to Moscow because of their involvement in Afghanistan, of all ironic things, and Ted Turner started the Goodwill Games, and as an alternative or whatever. And man, I think they need to revive the Goodwill Games and say, hey, listen, you people that have spent all these years getting to this point where you can represent your country in the Olympics, don't go down there and end up with babies with misshapen heads and death and cholera and stuff that's in the water with the human. There's got to be an alternative, Mark. There has got to be a workaround. Where did we hold the Olympics last time they had them? Take them back there. Well, we're back.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's doable, but I think it's terrible. And a lot of guys are whatever sounds reasonable. I think they are saying that is their mantra to I'm sorry, but I hurt my knee 3 years ago, and just it's been acting up, and I'm in the last year of my contract, and things that are reasonable, Mark. I mean, I think that cuts into that culls the herd some anyway. Where a guy is in his contract year and those kind of things, I think limit some of the decisions guys make, and I certainly think that this is going to add into it, Mark, in a lot of situations. And they're going to get some guys that are going to take it regardless. It's that simple. They're going to take their chances that the mosquito repellent that they use works. And not go outside and not really enjoy Rio like they probably would if had it not been for this mosquito-borne virus, which may or may not affect anybody at the Olympics. It's all it could, The water issue. Imagine there's crap floating in the water. The triathlon people are going to swim through. Guess what?
We don't care about that.
It's so second page. It's like page 7 compared to the Zika virus. And I think it might certainly. I know if I was choking on a bypassing, daddy log.
Yeah.
I think we need a redo or a redo or something. Yeah, it's just I think that's at least as big a health factor, Mark. But once again, the almighty dollar spoke a long time ago.
I mean, I don't mean to make fun of it, but I mean, you have the boats coming along, the swimmers. What is that coach saying? Eat it, just chew it. Come on, just come on, work it through, just chew it. It's like, really? I'm sorry.
Stroke and spit.
Billy Bob was supposed to be here, but he took a drug and failed the drug test at the last minute. Surprise, surprise! I fill in for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's floating waste out there, Mark. Some of that is. Here's the really catch-22. That nobody's saying. When it's raw sewage, first of all, it comes from the slums. They know where the source is. If you've seen that slum in Rio de Janeiro, size of like Denver, it's enormous there. And Shantytown, and I mean, it's this labyrinth of things. I don't know how you would ever find your way around there or find your way home. I can't imagine there's a lot of alcoholics there. Thank God they can't afford alcohol because they would just be homeless. But anyway, the sewage that comes out of there is bound to be still laced with X amount of excrement that is going to have drugs, at some measurable level. And imagine if this testing that they're doing now that's kept the Russian Federation out. Imagine that. That's not the biggest story in sports. Zika viruses, which is bigger. If I say to you, hey, listen, are you going to compete in the Olympics if they don't let the Russians in? Yeah. How about if there's somebody within a block of the stadium gets Zika? Nope. My knee hurts. My back. I hear my mom calling.
Yeah.
You know what? Religious reasons are I'm going on a mission. Jews do missions. They do now.
Yes. I'm going to the Wailing Wall. Whatever it takes, man. I am. Wow.
Take me now. So anyway, I think it's going to be a huge factor, Mark. But as we get back to the NBA Finals, which of the teams, they talk about them being tired in relative terms, Mark. They say, well, they got tired towards the end of this season. Well, you know what? They were tired coming into this season. If you look at the guys that are out there, Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, those three, Harrison Barnes was there. That's for Iguodala was there. That's 5 of their top 6 players were here for Basketball USA until the final cuts. You look on the other side, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Kevin Love. I got your photo with Kevin Love.
Yep.
They were tired going in. Who has gas? This is like a NASCAR race. Oh, waving the white flag. This does not mean give up. This means go for everything now. And who has anything left? And then they're expecting LeBron James and all them to play in the Olympics again. Curry's not going to play. There's going to be a lot of people from these two championship teams, much like the teams that are in the Super Bowl don't play in the Pro Bowl. Whatever the joke that has now become.
Right.
But here we are, man. How much time has LeBron James or any of that group that I mentioned, or Kyrie or whatever, unless they were injured and recuperating from an injury, which is not really rest. God, they work harder recuperating from an injury than they ever do just playing the damn sport in the first place. Yep. So that's not restful for them. So other than that, the guy doesn't get time off. You look how long we've watched LeBron James play 12 months year-round basketball.
Right.
He has not had months off. This is a man who's worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. And where the hell can he get? He gets to see airports. He gets to see the servers that come up and bring the room service stuff. That's all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he doesn't get to see cities and stuff like that. Yeah, you feel sorry for people like that. Yeah. And it's cool to see them compete. And they're going to be in Game 7. And the first time it's happened, Mark, and that somebody's come back from 3-1 to force a Game 7. It's been years and years since that's happened. I think it's only 3 out of 31 teams that have been down 3-1 have forced a Game 7. Nobody has ever won that final game that was down 3-1. So again, this is an incredible. It has not been a well-played series, but I think we might see a well-played finale.
Well, yeah, they just want it over with. They want to move on.
Now they do.
So.
Yeah, now they have to go back and have the parade and watch people in Cleveland burn the frickin' river caught fire in Cleveland. So what are they going to burn when they win a championship? Oh God, watch out, Ontario. Here comes Northern Ohio.
Canada's on fire.
They got torches. Yeah. They don't know what they want to burn. They just want to burn something. And that is too bad. By the way, the folks, congratulations to the fine folks in Pittsburgh and the Penguins who are coming here.
That's right.
This next week for the NHL Awards at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Is it at the Hard Rock this year?
So many mementos. Yes, and it's so cool. Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing something cooperatively with the Win, but yes, the awards are at the joint at the Hard Rock, which is cool. What a great place, I think it's nice when they kind of share the wealth. I'm not a huge fan of monopolies, regardless of which way it is, Mark. And I just don't think it works to everybody's benefit, any more than it does the monopolizer. So, They didn't use a monopoly to get where they are. I just think that's the system. A monopoly says the bucks stop here, as opposed to the buck stops here.
And the buck buck is stopping in Vegas, baby. We are going to have the team.
Yes, Lord. But they're not parking at the MGM properties. And Mark, you and I talked earlier, and I thought it was a very, very, very interesting. You mentioned two things that we were going to talk about on the show, Mark, right. And we did. And the thing that I had to say was, what about the NHL? Wasn't it an interesting phenomena that you had two things, and this is the week that we got an NHL team. And I think they will, like anybody else that comes in here, like any new hotel, like any demolition of an old hotel, like anything that's kind of exciting and the thing to do is cool for a couple of years. They're going to have a honeymoon in Vegas. Okay, that's cool. We had the wedding. Now we're going to have the honeymoon, and then you better win. Vegas does not like, we almost had it. We darn near had it. They're going to get to have one player from every team. It will be a gifted athlete, but I do not think I saw something in the paper that said they will be competitive in their first year. I can't imagine how that will occur. They the farm system and all those things, the infrastructure is not something that you just snap your fingers. I mean, it would be an enormous miracle, Mark, for them to produce any kind of good results. They're going to have to get so lucky goaltending wise, and just very, very fortunate in drafts and trades and any of those things they do for this next 3 or 4 years, or it could be, they could double the amount of time it takes to be competitive if they do. You're talking about they have to make damn near every move correctly to not really have repercussions that can be, life-changing kind of things. So it's a tough deal. They have not been dealt a great hand. And what is it, the 22nd, Mark? Yeah, Wednesday. That's when the NHL awards are. And it's a tough. It's just not easy all the way around, Mark. And
okay. Here is the problem. Here is the problem, and it is the problem with just about every business that comes into Vegas. They want to run it as if this was Chicago, this was Phoenix, this was LA. If the NHL top brass at NHL think that they're going to micromanage this team, they're going to screw it up. But if they let the team manage themselves, Vegas style, they will be very successful. Okay,
you would hope that Bill Foley would have enough sense to say the Las Vegas Wranglers did such a great job. They know the Las Vegas hockey market, if anybody does. They had the true hockey fans. They had the fan base there. That's what they're counting on to make this team go, Mark, is true hockey fans. Okay, then nobody worked harder than what they had with the Wranglers. And if a pro baseball team came in here, I would say, man, you would be idiots not to hire Don Logan and Jim Gemma and all the group there with Dick and the whole group there to run it, because Las Vegas is, exactly as you say, such a unique marketplace. There's more stuff to do here. I mean, it is like a Jackson Pollock painting of opportunities to do things that just take the same amount of money, or all these different factors are stacked against anybody new, whether it's a new movie theater or a new car dealership or a new home builder or a new attraction or a new whatever, Mark. You're right. It's a very, very different thing here.
And see, the NHL has been, they've been trying to be coy about this, as if, they thought this was Iowa, and it's like, we're going to grant them this wonderful thing that's going to change the city, and so we're going to drag it out as long as possible. It's Vegas. Just award us a frickin' franchise and move on. I mean,
put your money down, take a card to get out.
Yeah, it's like. Even if it was 2 years out, just selling the merchandise would make Bill Foley millions of dollars. Every Asian in town would want that.
Absolutely,
that sweatshirt. So yeah, it's
Mark,
just
what a big Raiders fan I am. Okay, yes. I am a of all things, I'm a Raiders fan from Colorado. I had a son named after a Kansas City Chief. I had nothing to do with them damn Chargers. But the Raiders are going to have to change the way they do their marketing if they do become the Las Vegas Raiders as opposed to the Oakland Raiders. Right. They had to change their marketing when they went from Oakland to Los Angeles and then back again. They had to alter their strategy. It's going to be amplified if they do come to Las Vegas. It is not just a laid down guaranteed thing that they'll be okay, because if they're crappy, the same thing's going to occur. People will go, but that extra money that you get from paraphernalia and all that stuff doesn't add up. And that, it's not there. And that affects teams' bottom lines, when they're paying $65 million for a second string linebacker out of Podunk State with a knee issue. It's a tough dollar counts with them. And this hockey team is, again, I think they're going to have a wonderful honeymoon. How long that honeymoon lasts Depends on when they start winning. If they show flashes and they have continuity of coaches, if they start changing coaches like people change underwear, that's not going to work either. They're going to have to really reach out and and build on some good promotions and those kind of things. They have an opportunity here that's absolutely virgin territory. There hasn't been a major league franchise.
Yep.
I think this is going to be much more successful city-wise than the soccer team was going to be. I think the soccer team would have been successful as a soccer team. I think it would have been pretty darn good. I don't think the effects to the city would have been near as much as they will be for the hockey team. No. But I think for the hockey team it might be different, Mark. You know, we do quite a bit. You're from Minnesota. We do quite a bit of business here in the winter months.
Yep.
From people from hockey country. We get a lot of Canadians in, even though there were no Canadian teams in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. Did you know that? Isn't that the oddest fact you've ever heard?
Yes, I have. I have ties to Canada, remember?
Yes, I know that. I know that.
I haven't talked to her in a while.
Bow ties,
still there.
Bow ties and low ties. And nipple clamps. Oh no, that's which of these doesn't belong? None of the above. Okay, so anyhow, this is a kind of a watershed moment, Mark, for the entire world of sports. You look around, the UFC. Nope, we're not getting sold. Nope, the guy's a damn liar that said we were getting sold. There's no way we're getting sold. Kimbo Slice died. $4 billion, huh? Nope, I don't believe there's any real. Well, there could be. I'm not sure. Let me get back with you on that about the sale deal. No, there's no active report of anything kind of looking like a maybe. You know, they're in that mode now.
The Americans are not in Baghdad. The Americans are not in Baghdad. There's not an American flag in Baghdad. There's not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
$4 billion.
Anyway,
and
with the B and to the Chinese.
Yeah, and Dana White goes with it. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
God,
how appropriate. God bless him. You know, you have something and you cash in on it, Mark, and there's something to be said for that.
Oh God, yes.
And they rolled the dice, and
I mean,
time to go home and buy an island.
I am not a fan of Dana White in any shape, form, or anything else. But man, when you can buy a business for $2 million, hang on to it for 14 years, and sell it for $4 billion, God bless the USA.
That's Jerry Jones style. There's very few of those success stories like that, Mark. Usually it's the Gene Autry by the Angels for not a whole lot, and then pour every penny you have into them, and they never were anything while he was around. I guess they won it when he was. Yeah, I don't know. Did he die before the? Yeah. Okay. Anyhow. UFC getting sold in and of itself is enormous. The Russians being banned from the Olympics is enormous. The Cavilers coming back from 3-1 to force a Game 7 is enormous. Draymond Green getting suspended during the middle of that for Game 5, which is a huge game to win. When you look at the overall scheme of things, teams that win Game 5 go on to win the NBA championships. That being said, nobody has ever. So the people that do the do theory, they're set because Cleveland has now put the opportunity on the table for them to cash in on the do theory. So there's going to be some people that are going to be scared off. Oh, nobody's ever done it. Okay, well that excites the other side of the crowd, which is what makes bookies happy. Hey, I've got two different opinions, and they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. All he does is pour gas on the fire. Them some bitches from Cleveland couldn't stop me. How And next thing you know, some reporters got it, and the wise guys in Vegas say, "That's just." By the way,
wise guys.
Do you? I want to let you know that I am proudly, and I really do mean this very proudly. Going to classes with the senior citizens education group running through UNLV. And I will tell you the two classes, Mark. One is going to be Gaming Insights. And I think it might be very informative to our fans and listeners. I think we might have to fire up footballlasvegas.com and do some things there and show people at least not how to not lose your very last penny every time you go out to gamble in Las Vegas, and kind of how to what to avoid and what some things that you get a pretty fair shake at. At least you can sit there and have a cocktail now and again, and not have your child's college education fund be on the line by the time your coffee gets down to the temperature that you can drink it, and you're already in $200. That sucks. Yeah. So it's going to be fun. Anyway, we're doing that. I'll get to the email and tell you about it here in a minute. So
that's it.
But I think it's going to be interesting, Mark. That's it. Okay. I think it's going to be interesting to do good sports from some of the locations that we're going to be. The other one is going to be about people that like to blog, and that's going to be and some of those appreciation. I think people have access to cameras, Mark, and they don't know the first thing about just taking a photo. And cameras are so automated right now. So I think we're going to touch on that about don't look into the sun. Let the sun hit you on the back of your head. Look at your shadow. It'll point you in the direct, simple things like that are simple to us, Mark, because we do the photography, that people could take better pictures if they would just compose them correctly. And you can do that now with the amazing, my God, what's available on camera phones is incredible. And so people might as well take them correctly, and then they can use them and do the blog, and we're going to set up and I guess show them how to do that and do some of the multimedia things that are available just basically by having a current or modern laptop computer, Mark. They come with cameras and microphones and basically everything you need. Is that correct?
Yes, they do.
Well,
we'll do it.
Thank you, Marconi.
Yeah. Hey, what? I'm just not another pretty face around here, okay?
Yeah, well, I've certainly thought that many a time. Okay, so back to the world of sports, but then again, both things are going to be sports related. I think. I hope. So anyhow, this amazing time. NASCAR's off this weekend.
You mean you're not going to show them any photos from Red Rock?
I could. Which photos would you like to see from Red Rock? I've got a couple that are okay. We can put up. Yeah. Okay. So anyhow, NASCAR, the Xfinity series is racing on Sunday. So if you've made it to the upper tier of NASCAR, you get Father's Day off. If you're only Xfinity good, screw you. You're racing on Father's Day.
Yep.
Mother's Day, your birthday. Everybody's got a race all the time. So I find that a little odd. But anyhow, NASCAR's taking the week off. At least the Sprint Cup guys are.
Meanwhile,
and there's big talk. There's big talk that Jeff Gordon's going to be the replacement for Michael Strahan on Kelly and Jeff Live. He's been the co-host like 4 or 5 times on there on a really? Once in a while basis. Yeah. Okay. So I said that's good. He's used to dealing with snivelly little whiny people with much less talent than him.
That'd be Kelly.
So that would be Kelly. Well, he's used to it on the racetrack.
Yes.
They're all pretty smallish. Yeah. So
meanwhile, our racetrack is packed with 400,000 millennials at night, hearing some overpaid.
Is that what millennials are?
Yeah. What?
I didn't know what the true definition of a millennial was. It's people that use drugs and look at and dance around and look at and go on rides and look at odd like lights and stuff.
And they listen to some guy play a iPod on steroids that gets paid $300,000 a night. Yes.
Wow. Where do you sign up for that kind of gig?
No shit, Sherlock, man. God.
Wow. Who invented that? I just want to shake their hand. I just hope some of that smart rubs off on us.
That would be Mr. Holly Madison, the man who
Mr.
married.
Holly Madison. Is that true?
Yep. He,
Wow.
I forgot his name. He's got St. Quill, something like that. But when he moved EDC to Vegas, he started to date Holly, and then they got married, and the rest is history. So,
Mark, I ride the bus, and I was waiting on the bus to come home, and so it's right on somewhat at the edge of downtown Las Vegas. There's a 7-Eleven right there. And a young lady was waiting for her Uber ride, or whatever it was, to pick her up. And she was getting ready to go to the Electric Daisy Carnival.
okay.
And as she was standing there, kind of in the rocks on the corner, in the shade, but just standing there had to be probably 10 cars that either slammed their brakes on, or at least slowed down significantly, or pulled over, or turned the corner and pulled over to inquire what she might be doing. And I don't think that any of them were going because she would have gotten in and got a ride for free, as opposed to going with Uber. They're all going to be out there together anyway. So, but anyway, it was interesting to see. She was dressed very differently than what I think the rest of the people in that neck of the woods were dressed. And yeah, and they're in the infield. They are on some hallowed ground, NASCAR wise.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. But it's 110 degrees out there. I just wow.
Well, at least God bless them. You hope they come here and have fun. I applaud the cops that are trying to stop. Whatever. We just don't want people to die. God, if you can't come here without dying, don't come. Here's a new plan. We don't want you to come here and die. So if you can't enjoy the thing without doing ecstasy or whatever, and doing so much of it that you die, okay, find something else to do. Those of you that want to be here, party, God, use your heads. It's the desert. It's really frickin' hot. Take extra water. Freeze some.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing I love about Vegas, and the reason this is here, is because we Vegas knows how to move 400,000 people in a blink of an eye. It's just
people out of Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah,
know how to do it. They share what they learn from their activities and get them in and out.
And
safely.
Yes, and okay, you get free water there if you have if you buy a water cup there. You can buy one of those little thermoses, and it's just like you say. We want you to live.
You have to go get it filled all the time.
Yeah, but it's free.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like, okay, we want you here next year to drop another $150 million into our economy.
Oh, God,
Thank you very much.
Oh, at least 400,000 attendees. If that's true, that there's 400,000 individual attendees, not all 3 nights or 5 nights or however long it is. Is it 3 nights?
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to end before Tuesday, which is going to be the hot day.
Right. So
it's only going to be 111 on Monday. That's not the hot day. And I'll only put the head in.
Yes.
They're the very same thought process there. Anyway, 114, 115, somewhere in that range on Tuesday, which the unfortunate news is there's going to be a lot of them who have planned to stay that extra day in Vegas and do the Vegas thing after the EDC goes. They don't want all the traffic and everything, so it's cheaper just to keep their room one extra night. I know a lot of places were offering specials along that line. Stay here the 1 extra day or 3 extra days or whatever it was. And you do the tour thing, Mark, with thevegastourist.com. And do you set up the whole shooting match for people? Do you do hotels and everything there? And
No. No. I will pick you up at your hotel. I will take you wherever it is that you want to go, but the hotel is yours.
Okay.
So,
All right. So do you ever take, where's the wildest place you've ever had to take or have taken a tour to?
define wild.
Well, in your mind, what's the most, the thing the place that left the biggest impression on you as to what someone would think would be odd or different or maybe off the beaten path?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for hitting
Has
me up.
anybody ever asked for a tour up in Trump? Yeah, no problem. Well, you don't have to answer honestly. You can say to the freaking dog pound to watch them, rescue puppies or something.
Here is my weirdest, I shouldn't say weirdest, but most strangest tour event. Okay. Took a group up. I took a group up to the Grand Canyon. We were staying at Yavapai Lodge, which is basically your motor lodge where you park in front of the hotel. They're all one story. There's like 9 rooms next, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm in the first to the last room. Normally I'm in the last room, but I'm in the first to the last room. And, I've been up there a bazillion times. So I'm just in my hotel room, I'm in my room. I'm doing my paperwork. It's like 10 o'clock at night. The people in the very end room right next to me are going at it. I mean, verbally loud, going at it, shaking the headboards, the whole works. Okay. I mean, literally. Okay. And I did not look at who they were. All right. So the following morning, we're out loading up the bus and all that. And I'm just standing there. And I'm staring at this room. I'm just staring at this room. And my bus driver's like, is there something wrong? I said, I got to see who comes out of this room, because for a good 45 minutes, they were going at it last night like bunnies. All right. I mean, they were just.
All right. You're perfect.
The oldest couple on my tour, they had to be in their 80s, came out of that room.
Well, that's why it took so freaking long, dude. He keep.
Oh my God!
All right, we're gonna start over. She was back. Oh my. Well, okay. You know what? When I first got into radio, Mark, one of the cool things they had out at the College of Southern Nevada out there on Cheyenne was, which now has a new name that reflects North Las Vegas, and I forget what the exact name is. But anyhow, they had balloon things, and I'm not big on heights. I don't mind flying, but I don't like being on a ladder. My knees don't like it. And I didn't think I'd be good in a balloon. And I had the people on the air and everything. I was doing a local radio show in the middle of the two things that were going coast to coast that I was doing at the same frickin' time. So I had my ex go through the yellow pages, which is a thing people used to use to find phone numbers. And she went through the yellow pages and it would produce me different guests or whatever. So I got a hold of these people that were doing the balloons. They invited us out there. It was cool. It was neat seeing the balloons and learning all about it and everything. So they offered me a ride in the balloon. They gave me this thing, and it was like, we'd like you to be our guest and blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't go up in the balloon. Well, when I said thank you, but no thank you, whatever, somebody slipped an envelope in my hand. And they knew that I did photography also. And it said, if you'll take photos of us making love in the balloon, we'll pay you $500. And I almost did it. I was thinking, no, I'll drop my frickin' camera. I'll pass out and roll out of the thing. They'll hump hard enough to bounce me out. Something bad will happen. God will hit us with a lightning bolt, and we're way the hell up there. I knew I just couldn't make myself do it, but I really did contemplate it. So yeah, that was. I don't think I've had any other wild requests.
All right. Okay, take us out of here, buddy.
All right, that's it, huh? Well, NBA Finals, Game 7, Sunday night. Already a historic thing. It's the puncher and the boxer, the 3-point shooters, and the man. This game could be LeBron's legacy. So it's going to be very interesting. And Mark's got Golden State, and I have Cleveland.
Yep.
For lunch, right?
Yep.
I have witnesses.
All right.
You got a deal. Okay. For Mark Anthony, I'm Rick Rosen, and all of us here at Good Sports, we thank you for listening. We'll talk to you again next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.